Hey there. On this channel, we believe it's possible to transform expecting moms and dads into confident parents with compassion, education, and support. And if you believe that too, I hope you'll stick around. My name is Victoria. I am a certified birth doula and a childbirth educator, and I run Motherwell Doula service here online known as the Motherwell. And if you're watching this video, I'm guessing that you're pregnant or you're really interested in pregnancy and birth. So I'm so glad you're here. What I want to do today is to tell you 5 things I really think you need to know before you give birth. These 5 things come from my 5 years of experience as a birth doula. I've seen dozens of babies be born, and these lessons really just repeat themselves time and again, and I think it's important for you to know. So I hope you'll watch the video, stick around to the end, and let me know what you think. All right, so here are the 5 things you need to know before giving birth from me, Victoria Wilson, certified doula and childbirth educator behind Motherwell Doula Service. So, quick disclaimer, I am not a medical or clinical care provider. I am not your care provider. And so nothing on this website or my materials or my presentations should be taken as medical advice. As always, I encourage you to take information you might learn from me and talk with your qualified and licensed medical professional about your own healthcare. So the first thing you need to know about giving birth is that patient rights equal human rights, and that equals your rights. Those are all the same things: patient rights, human rights, your rights. Unfortunately, we see a lot of human rights violations in birth, and this is really sad, unfortunate, wrong. A lot of advocates around the world are working to change this, but the real power is in you as the patient knowing your own rights, knowing what you're able to do. This includes things like having informed consent and refusal. That means that you can say yes or no, wait or maybe, I need more information to anything that your doctor is or your provider is asking you to do. So this means that before you agree or decline any intervention or course of care, you should know exactly what is being proposed. What's the effect and purpose of the treatment? What are any side effects? What are risks? What are alternatives? That's all something that you deserve to know as the person who owns your body and owns your own healthcare. And if you have a provider who is really great at this, that's wonderful. I hope you feel really safe and secure and confident with them in your care. But if you don't, especially if you're watching this and you're pregnant, now is the time to look around at different providers who might give you better informed consent and respect your refusal. I just think a lot of people don't know this, that you really can say no to something that your doctor or your midwife is asking you to do, suggesting that you do. In some cases, right, forcing or trying to coerce you to do. You absolutely have control and autonomy over your body, and you should have a provider that respects that. And again, informed refusal is very much a part of this too, right? Many people and advocates have talked about this, defined this, and there is a general consensus that refusal means you should be free from any force, fraud, deceit, duress, any kind of coercion. You should be able to refuse or withdraw, your permission to give any. You should be able to refuse or withdraw your consent at any time, and you shouldn't have a fear that that's going to affect your future healthcare or the healthcare for your baby. You absolutely have every right to ask questions and negotiate any aspects of your treatment. This is from Birth Monopoly. It's run by Kristen Pascucci. It's a consumer advocacy organization, and she highlighted that in 2016, even ACOG, the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecologists, even said in their own statement, pregnancy does not lessen or limit the requirement to obtain informed consent to honor a pregnant woman's refusal of recommended treatment. So again, this means that your OB, your midwife, they should never be coercing you, forcing you, manipulating you to do any kind of treatment at all whatsoever. And if they are doing that, certainly you have every right to look around and get a different provider who's going to respect you. A lot of people wonder, how do I do that? No is a complete sentence. You could always say, no, I don't want to do X, Y, and Z, and you don't even need to give a reason. But I find that many people like a few more options. Not everyone is confident enough just to say no, or maybe they're not sure if they should say no and they need more information. These are some great phrases you can use to help you get more information. So you could say something like, is this an emergency? I want to get a second opinion from another care provider before deciding. This is a really good one. If I and my baby are safe right now, I'm not ready to change our plans. I've seen this work really well in labor. If everything's going great, sometimes just that tincture of time is all we need. And if you're safe and your baby's safe, there might not be a reason to intervene, just kind of see what happens. So here are some phrases you can kind of take with you to your next appointment or to your birth to help make sure you're getting that true informed consent and that you're going to be able to either consent or refuse and you feel confident. So the second point is that patience pays off. A lot of providers use that phrase tincture of time. And what they mean by that is that very often, if nothing is wrong, sometimes all we need is just a little bit of time, whether that's for labor to begin or for an issue to resolve in labor. Many times patience pays off. So the first way this shows up is by letting labor begin on its own. Lamaze International has put out 6 healthy birth practices for years now. These are 6 fundamental core ideas informed by evidence that we know we typically get best outcomes when these are followed. And letting labor begin on its own is one of them. Unless there is a clear medical reason or an incredibly strong personal preference you have for inducing labor, we really should avoid inducing. That's because babies know best when to be born, and helping that baby kind of stay inside your belly as long as possible can help ensure their proper growth and development. We do know that between 41 and 42 weeks of pregnancy, it certainly may be appropriate to induce labor for health and safety benefits if you go past 41 weeks, but that's an individual conversation with your provider about your unique situation. And then once you're in labor, we really know that slow and steady wins the race. So again, patience pays off. As long as everyone's healthy, and as long as you have not been in labor for an especially long amount of time with really adequate contractions and no change, if your labor doesn't meet this clinical definition of arrested or stalled, slowed labor, laboring people should be treated as if they're progressing normally, right? Unless there's an issue with you or baby, or unless you have been in labor for a truly extended amount of time that meets a clinical definition, you should be able just to labor on. Sometimes it can take a while for these little babies to rotate through the pelvis and make their way out, and that is okay. So the third thing you need to know is that you should be moving and grooving. I love this point, and I love helping people move in labor as a doula. Movement in labor works with your own body's anatomy to make birth easier. Movement can even happen with an epidural or without. It really doesn't matter what medications or interventions you might have. There should be ways to help you move and stay upright. And I'll show you some pictures of me assisting people in birth, moving and grooving. You kind of see there's lots of different little positions going on here. This is just me working as a doula. And I truly love helping people be active, be upright, and it's one of my favorite things. You can just see and you can imagine, right? Gravity moving is really helping that baby come through the pelvis and find his or her best way out. So number 4 is good vibes only. Everybody in your birthing space is going to affect how your birth goes, and you are certainly in control of that. I think you should birth like a queen. How you're treated in childbirth matters to your overall health, and research even backs this up. We know that there are some factors that contribute to birth satisfaction, and that includes, did you have quality care? Did you feel prepared for and in control of your labor? Of course, labor isn't necessarily something we can control. What this means is that did you feel in control of your decisions? Were you pushed around, or were you able to, call your own shots, make your own decisions, and have labor progress, in that way that you were in the driver's seat? And was your labor especially stressful, right? Sometimes labor can take turns we don't expect. If you have an especially stressful or traumatic labor, we can't always predict or expect that, but what we can predict is who is going to be there and how they're, going to treat you. You really want to surround yourself with nurses, providers, doulas, partners, any family members that are going to respect you, take good care of you, and no matter what happens in that birth, you're likely going to have a positive, reflection on it if you were truly respected and had those good vibes that we look for. And number 5, tying it all together, is that mama knows best. A midwife that I really love likes to say, we believe your labor. That just means we believe what's going on with your body. What you say is happening. Yes, you're the owner of your body. People taking care of you should respect that, should trust what you're saying, and follow, the care from there. I believe that you have great worth and value. You were chosen to be the mother of your baby, and you guys are capable. You should be able to surround yourself with a positive support system and be able to follow your gut to do what's right for you and your baby. Hopefully, you have people in your corner who also believe that and who are giving you that support. If not, maybe look into hiring someone like a doula. Maybe ask around on some mom groups to say, hey, I don't really know if I've got this support system that's believing me and trusting me. Where do you go for that kind of support? Try to get some recommendations there. But I definitely believe mama knows best. Parents are the best decision makers for their babies. And the more we honor that, I think the healthier everyone will be. So that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching this. You can connect with me further at motherwelldoula.com or on any of the social media platforms below: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or here on YouTube at Motherwell Doula. Thank you.